Hey everyone, and welcome back to Chi for Love and Abundance. Have you ever come home after a funeral and just felt a subtle heaviness? Like something's off? Maybe your usually playful pet seems a bit withdrawn, or you notice a strange, quiet chill in your home that wasn't there before. Sometimes, you might even find yourself just tossing and turning at night, even when you're completely exhausted. It's a common experience, and no, you're not imagining things. What often happens is we might unknowingly bring some of that intense energy back into our living space. And believe it or not, sometimes the simplest thing is the biggest carrier. The clothes we wore. You know, when we step into a funeral, our minds are naturally completely absorbed. We're there to offer support, to mourn, to navigate those incredibly sensitive ceremonies. And that's exactly where our focus should be, of course. But here's a subtle truth, something we often completely overlook. Energy isn't just floating around out there. It's truly everywhere. And those deeply felt emotions, the raw grief, the profound sadness, the quiet anxieties, even the shock of loss, they don't just vanish into thin air. Oh no, not at all. It's almost like they leave an invisible imprint. Kind of energetic residue. This residue can cling to the space itself, to the objects around, and yes, it definitely attaches to us. Think of it like a fine dust. You don't always see it, but you absolutely feel it building up. It's like carrying an unseen backpack, filled with emotions that aren't even yours, and that can feel incredibly heavy, can't it? You know, it's so incredibly natural for us to think that once we've left a funeral, once the last goodbyes are said, once the ceremony quietly concludes, that's it. We've physically left it all behind, right? We get back in our cars, drive home, and expect to just pick up where we left off. But here's something profoundly, deeply important to really, truly ponder, especially when we consider the subtle currents of energy and how they shape our lives. Did it truly leave you behind? Just sit with that for a moment. That palpable sadness, that raw, profound grief, the collective sorrow of a space filled with people grappling with loss. It's not just some fleeting emotion that simply vanishes into thin air the moment you step outside. Oh no. In countless ancient traditions stretching back through human history, and certainly within the powerful principles of Feng Shui, it's deeply understood that deep emotion, especially collective emotion, carries its own very real, very tangible, energetic signature. It's a distinct chi, or chi, a specific vibration that can and very often does linger. It doesn't just fade, it can become a form of stagnant, heavy, or even unsettling energy. These incredibly strong energies, sometimes overwhelmingly intense, they don't just disappear. They actually have a remarkable capacity to stick. They can cling quite powerfully to the very space where these profound emotions were felt, to the objects present. And yes, they can absolutely, undoubtedly, certainly cling directly to us. Think of it almost like walking through a dense, emotionally charged fog. You might not see the individual particles, but you instinctively feel the dampness, the coolness, the sheer heaviness on your skin, and even in your clothes, long after you've physically exited that fog. And if you unknowingly carry even a whisper of that fog into your sanctuary, your home, it can subtly but surely begin to affect everything. And here's where the true value lies, because this is absolutely crucial. In the wisdom of Feng Shui, the energy, the qi of your personal space directly, intimately impacts your entire well-being. It touches your health, it influences your relationships, it shapes your emotional clarity, and perhaps most surprisingly, it profoundly affects your prosperity and your overall good fortune. Heavy, stagnant energy, the kind often associated with deep grief or sadness, doesn't just make you feel a bit low. It can create very real energetic blockages. It might subtly drain your personal vitality, impacting your physical energy, clouding your mental clarity, and even quietly eroding your motivation to pursue new opportunities. What many of us don't quite realize, or perhaps underestimate, is how this subtle, almost invisible energetic drain can, over time, directly impact your flow of abundance. It can make opportunities feel harder to grasp, make financial situations feel a bit stickier, and diminish that overall sense of ease, luck, and effortless flow in life. It's a subtle but powerful chain reaction, impacting your ability to attract and manifest positive things. So, understanding this isn't just about avoiding bad luck. It's about actively cultivating an environment where good things can thrive. That's precisely why, if you look closely at ancient history, at diverse cultural practices across the globe, and honestly, if you just pause to observe your own grandparents or the wise elders in your community, you'll consistently see a pattern. People have these very specific, often quiet and deeply meaningful practices after attending a funeral. Simple yet profound acts. Pausing for a conscious moment outside their home, taking a grounding breath, or quite literally, gently brushing themselves off from head to toe before stepping back inside their personal sanctuary. Sometimes it's even a ritual as simple as washing their hands or feet before crossing the threshold. It's a recurring, deeply human, common thread that speaks volumes about an innate understanding of energy. This isn't about superstition, not in the old fear-based, uninformed sense. Not at all. It's about a deeply intuitive, almost primal understanding of what we now lovingly call energy hygiene, or what many would recognize as practical, living Feng Shui. It's recognizing that intense energy doesn't simply vanish when someone passes on or when profound emotions are released. No, it intelligently shifts, it moves. And if it finds a place to settle, particularly in your sacred home space, it can create a disharmony that subtly, but incredibly powerfully, impacts your daily life, your well-being, and critically, your luck and financial flow. And those seemingly simple, ancient rituals, they were, in essence, the very first, incredibly effective forms of energetic cleansing and protection. They were practical, deeply insightful, yet remarkably powerful ways to clear our own energetic field, to release what wasn't ours to carry, and, most importantly, to prevent that stagnant or heavy energy from entering and disrupting the harmonious flow of abundance and well-being within our personal space, our cherished home. They're an act of self-care for your soul and your prosperity. So, you're starting to see how deeply energy impacts everything, aren't you? If this is sparking something for you, and you're nodding along, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Chi for Love and Abundance right now. We dive deep into making your life and your home a magnet for all things good. So, we've talked about how energy lingers, right? Now, let's zoom in on something surprisingly simple, yet incredibly potent. Your clothes. Think about it for a second. When you step into a funeral, you're not just a passive observer. You're physically present in an environment saturated with intense, heavy emotions. We're talking about raw grief, deep sorrow, a palpable sense of loss. From a Feng Shui perspective, these emotions aren't just invisible feelings. They create a very real, very dense form of stagnant or yin energy, a kind of energetic residue that truly fills the air. And here's the often overlooked truth. Your clothes, especially those darker, heavier fabrics typically worn to such occasions, act like tiny, absorbent energetic sponges. They don't just cover your body. They literally soak up the vibrational frequency of that entire environment. Imagine them becoming heavy with unseen emotional dust. It's not just a figure of speech. They truly carry that energetic imprint. So, what happens when you then take those very clothes still subtly dense with that heavy, almost somber energy and bring them directly into your most sacred space, your home? You're unknowingly inviting that same stagnant or negative energy right through your front door. You hang them in your closet, toss them on a chair, or even just put them in the laundry basket inside. But wherever they are, they're subtly, silently, beginning to lower the energetic vibration of that area, and eventually, the entire atmosphere of your sanctuary. This, my friends, is where the direct impact on your life, your overall well-being, and perhaps most surprisingly, your prosperity and good fortune becomes startlingly clear. From a Feng Shui lens, a home that feels heavy, that quietly carries the residue of sorrow or stagnant energy, creates subtle but powerful energetic blockages. It's not just about feeling a bit down. This subtle heavy energy can actually drain your personal vitality, your own life force. It can make you feel unexpectedly tired, surprisingly unmotivated, or even a little inexplicably anxious. That's your own internal energy responding to your environment. And when your personal energy, your vital chi, feels low, stuck, or blocked, guess what happens to your flow of abundance? It quite literally slows down. Opportunities that might have been coming your way could seem to bypass you. Financial situations might feel unexpectedly tighter, like you're constantly swimming upstream. Your ability to attract positive outcomes, to manifest your desires, or simply to experience that easy, effortless good luck can be significantly, subtly diminished. It's like trying to row a boat down a river that's suddenly filled with unseen energetic debris. So yes, your clothes, seemingly innocent objects, can become a silent conduit for this powerful energetic drag on your overall prosperity and well-being. I'll never forget a time, years ago, after attending a particularly somber memorial service, I came home, exhausted, and just hung my funeral suit straight into my closet without thinking. For the next few days, I felt this strange, unshakable fatigue. My creative flow for work, which is usually so strong, just seemed to stop. Ideas felt muddy, and I even had a minor financial setback that felt completely out of the blue. It wasn't until I intuitively felt this need to cleanse my space that I realized my clothes were holding on to that heavy energy. It was a quiet aha moment that really brought this concept home for me. It's about how easily everyday items, like the clothes on your back, can carry unseen energies right into the heart of your personal abundant flow. Now, understanding that is one thing, but what about the ancient wisdom that tells us exactly how to release this energetic burden? Let's dive into some incredibly simple, yet profoundly powerful, traditional practices that have been used for centuries to protect your home and your fortune. You know, growing up, I remember my grandma, and maybe yours too, always had this seemingly small, almost automatic ritual. After attending a funeral, she'd come home, and the very first thing she'd do, before stepping too far into the house, was head straight for the sink. She'd wash her hands, sometimes her face, always with a little bit of salt in the water. I never quite understood why she did it. It just was. Did your elders have similar, seemingly quirky habits? For the longest time, many of us probably just brushed it off, thinking, oh, that's just an old superstition, or Grandma's just being traditional. But here's where we unpack something truly remarkable. This isn't just folklore. This deep-seated practice, found in cultures all over the world, is actually rooted in an incredibly profound, intuitive understanding of energy and its impact on our lives, our well-being, and critically, our prosperity. From a Feng Shui perspective, and within many ancient spiritual traditions, water is seen as a purifier, a cleanser that washes away the old and brings in the new. But salt? Salt is considered an exceptionally potent cleansing agent for stagnant or negative energy. It's believed to absorb, neutralize, and even transmute heavy vibrations. Think of it as a natural energetic magnet. After being in an environment laden with the dense yin energy of grief and loss, these subtle, wise rituals were a way to literally scrub off any energetic residue that might have clung to you. And here's the fascinating part, where culture, spirituality, and even a touch of modern understanding converge. While it wasn't called psychology back then, these rituals created a powerful mental and emotional reset. When you consciously engage in an act of cleansing, you're not just cleaning your hands. You are signaling to your subconscious mind and to the universe that you are consciously letting go of the heavy emotions, the sadness, the density of the event you just attended. It's an act of completion. It closes the energetic loop. This deliberate intention, this symbolic washing away, helps prevent that heavy energy from setting roots in your own personal energetic field, and crucially, from being tracked into your sacred home space. Because here's the profound truth. Your home is not just a building. In Feng Shui, it's a living, breathing entity, a vibrant, energetic system that constantly absorbs and reflects everything within it. Every emotion, every sound, every conversation, every energy you bring in, your home literally absorbs it. If you bring in heavy, unresolved energies, your home's ki or chi can become stagnant. And what happens when the energy in your home becomes stagnant or negative? It directly impacts your luck, your opportunities, your financial flow, and your overall sense of peace and abundance. It's truly a domino effect. So, that seemingly simple act of washing with salt, or doing a little dusting off at the door, wasn't just some quaint old habit. Here's the mini twist, the powerful revelation. These rituals weren't superstition in the negative sense. They were, in fact, incredibly sophisticated, deeply intuitive forms of energy hygiene. They were ancient wisdom applied to real-life situations, designed to protect your personal vibration and the energetic integrity of your living space, ensuring that your home remains a beacon for light, peace, and uninterrupted prosperity. Understanding this fundamental truth changes everything, doesn't it? It transforms a superstition into a powerful tool for self-care and energetic protection. Now that we understand the why behind these powerful practices, let's move on to the practical how. It's time to learn some simple, actionable steps you can take to cleanse your energy and your space, ensuring your home is always a magnet for good fortune. So, we've explored the why behind these ancient practices, how energy works, how it attaches, and how it can subtly impact your health, your peace, and even your flow of abundance. Now, let's get into the practical, actionable steps. These are simple, yet incredibly powerful things you can do to cleanse your energy and your space, ensuring your home remains a magnet for peace and good fortune. 1. The doorstep pause, your first line of energetic defense. The very first step happens even before you fully re-enter your home. As you approach your front door, just pause, take a moment. Instead of rushing in, take 2 or 3 really deep, conscious breaths. As you exhale, intentionally visualize any heavy, lingering energy from the funeral, simply leaving your body, like smoke dissipating into the air. Then, quite literally, use your hands to gently but firmly brush yourself off from head to toe. Imagine you're brushing off invisible dust, any energetic debris that might have clung to you. This simple act, this mindful pause, is your first powerful declaration. I am leaving that energy outside. 2. Shedding the energetic layer, your clothes as conduits. Next, the moment you step inside, head directly to a designated area, perhaps a utility room, a mud room, or even just a spot right by the entrance. Immediately take off the clothes you wore to the funeral. Don't carry them deep into your home. Don't toss them onto your bed. And definitely don't hang them back in your closet with your everyday attire. From a Feng Shui perspective, those clothes are now saturated with that yin energy. You want to contain it. Ideally, take them straight outside to air out in the sunlight, if possible. Sunlight is an incredible natural purifier. If that's not an option, place them directly into a laundry basket and wash them immediately. Don't let them sit. Use your regular detergent, and if you can, add a cup of white vinegar or a sprinkle of baking soda to the wash. These are gentle, natural cleansing agents that help refresh the energetic fabric. 3. Personal purification. The salt water reset. This is the core of that ancient wisdom, and it's beautifully simple. Head to a sink and wash your hands thoroughly with warm water and a good pinch of salt. Any salt will do: sea salt, table salt, Epsom salt. As the warm water and salt swirl around your hands, truly focus your intention. Visualize all the heaviness, all the emotional residue, all the stagnant energy from the funeral, simply dissolving and washing away down the drain with the water. You can even silently affirm, "I cleanse myself of all unwanted energies. I am pure, light, and open to positive flow." Some traditions also suggest lightly splashing your face, or even rinsing your mouth with a tiny bit of salt water. The key here is the conscious intention behind the act. This isn't just about physical cleanliness. It's a powerful, energetic reset for your personal field. It literally washes away the energetic fingerprints of grief and stagnation, making space for your own vibrant energy to return. 4. Clearing your sanctuary. Air and light for flow. Now, it's time to revitalize your actual living space. Open up all the windows and doors in your home. Let the fresh air circulate freely from one end of the house to the other. This is crucial for Feng Shui, as it helps to literally move stagnant energy out and invite fresh, vibrant qi in. Think of it as hitting a refresh button for your home's atmosphere. Sunlight, if available, is also incredibly cleansing, so pull back those curtains and let the light flood in. If you have an essential oil diffuser, a few drops of cleansing oils like lemon, frankincense, or Palo Santo can also help uplift the energy. A bit of light, cleansing music, or even a simple bell ringing through the rooms can further clear the air and usher in a renewed sense of peace and lightness. It's about consciously inviting that positive energy back in, making your home a place that naturally attracts good things. 5. The Salt Bowl Sentinel, a temporary energy absorbent. Here's a deeply effective, yet temporary, trick to absorb any remaining energetic heaviness. Take a small bowl, ideally a non-metallic one, and fill it about halfway with coarse sea salt or rock salt. Place this bowl near your front entrance, or in a central area of your home, for about 24 to 48 hours. The salt will act as a powerful absorbent, drawing in any lingering, negative, or stagnant energy that might have escaped the initial cleansing. After a day or two, carefully take the bowl outside and discard the salt immediately. Do not pour it down your indoor drains, as that would bring the absorbed negative energy back into your plumbing system. Instead, bury it in the earth or toss it into an outdoor trash receptacle. This completes the cycle of release, ensuring that the heavy energy is completely removed from your immediate environment. It's a simple, yet potent, way to protect your home's energetic integrity and keep your space clear for abundance to flow freely. Remember, Each of these actions, no matter how small, is a powerful act of conscious intention. You are actively choosing to purify your space and your spirit. You're not just reacting to an event. You're taking proactive steps to protect your peace, your health, and your precious flow of good fortune. It's about knowing you have the power to create the energetic environment you desire. Now that you have these practical tools, how do you put them into practice and truly feel the shift? I'm going to share a deeply personal story about my own experience with these steps and how it profoundly shifted the energy in my home and my life. You know, for a long time, even with all my knowledge about energy and Feng Shui, there was a period where I was still, well, learning by doing. And I'll never forget one particular time, many years ago. It was after a deeply emotional memorial service. I was just completely drained, physically and emotionally. I came home exhausted. And honestly, the thought of any kind of cleansing ritual just slipped my mind. I kicked off my shoes, hung my funeral clothes straight into my closet, and just collapsed. For the next few days, the shift in my home was subtle at first, almost imperceptible. But then, things started to feel off. My usually playful cat, who's always glued to my side, seemed distant. She'd avoid my lap, preferring to sit quietly in corners. My home, which typically feels so light and inviting, started to feel heavy, almost as if there was a low hum of sadness in the air. And personally, I found myself incredibly fatigued, sleeping poorly despite being tired. My creative spark, which is so crucial for chi, for love and abundance, felt completely dulled. Ideas just wouldn't come. I felt unusually unmotivated. And strangely, my small online business seemed to hit a sudden, unexpected lull in sales and engagement. It was a frustrating few days, feeling stuck in this vague, heavy cloud. Then, one quiet evening, as I sat feeling this inexplicable drag, a memory suddenly resurfaced. It was my grandma's voice, clear as day, gently reminding me about washing with salt after a difficult day, after any heavy experience. It was like a little light bulb went off. An aha moment, I thought. Could it really be that simple? So, I got up. I went through all the steps I just shared with you. I opened every window, even though it was a bit chilly. I took out those funeral clothes, aired them, and washed them with intention. I did a deep, conscious salt water wash for my hands, truly visualizing all that heaviness leaving me. I even placed a small bowl of salt by my front door. And here's the remarkable part, the quiet realization. The shift wasn't dramatic, like a lightning bolt. It was gentle, yet profound. That very night, I slept more soundly than I had in days. The next morning, the house felt lighter, almost as if it had taken a deep, fresh breath. My cat was back to her playful, purring self, rubbing against my legs. And slowly, steadily, my creative energy returned. Ideas flowed. My business momentum picked up again, almost as if it had been waiting for the space to be clear. It truly felt like my home, and by extension, my flow of prosperity had let out a massive sigh of relief. This personal experience profoundly reinforced what the ancient traditions and Feng Shui have always taught. The unseen truly does impact the seen, and consciously tending to that energetic space is a powerful act of self-care, not just for your well-being, but for inviting continuous love and abundance into your life. It's truly something I recommend from the bottom of my heart. So, now you've heard my story, and you have these incredibly practical tools at your fingertips. What's the next step? It's about cultivating awareness every single day. Let's talk about how this mindset becomes your most powerful shield. So, there you have it. We've journeyed through ancient wisdom, Feng Shui principles, and even personal experiences, all to understand a profound truth. Protecting your home and your spirit doesn't require complicated rituals, expensive tools, or secret knowledge. The most powerful tool you possess, truly, is your awareness and your conscious intention. Remember this: you are your own most powerful talisman. Your informed awareness is that silent shield, that gentle filter, helping you consciously choose what energy you allow into your sacred space. It's about being present, being mindful. The next time you find yourself returning home after a funeral or any emotionally charged event, just pause, take a moment, and simply ask yourself, what energy am I truly inviting back into my space right now? By understanding these subtle energetic principles, you're not just avoiding bad luck. You are actively, powerfully cultivating an environment where good things can not only survive, but truly thrive. You are creating a space that naturally attracts ease, health, joy, and yes, a continuous flow of abundance in all its beautiful forms. So, let's declare it. Let's affirm this power together. I return home clean and clear. I consciously choose light, peace, and abundant flow. I protect my prosperity, my well-being, and the harmony of my cherished home. If this conversation has resonated with you, if it's given you a new perspective or a tool to empower your life, please don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button right now. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or any questions you have in the comments below. I truly love hearing from you all. And if you want more insights on creating a life filled with love and abundance, make sure you're subscribed to Chi for Love and Abundance and have that notification bell turned on so you don't miss any of our upcoming journeys into energetic wisdom. Thank you for being here, for being open to these deeper conversations. Until next time, keep your energy clear and your heart open to all the amazing abundance life has for you. See you soon.